concept of going to billboards for us was to not completely cut the middleman out, because we still get business from that, but to be able to go direct to consumer. So take the business format from a B2B to a B2C.
But, you know, BJ, the human story, because I know you give a lot back to the community. I know your passion project, we've talked a lot about over the years, is giving back to Compton, giving those kids, the group that you did, access to education, right? Access to opportunity.
Right. Yeah, really just trying to kind of put myself back where I was when I was younger and look at what I didn't have, you know, avenues, resources, guidance, and things like that.
Welcome to this episode of Bourbon of Proof, where we share a lot of spirits over those who have been successful, both law and life. And we're very, very, very proud to have our co-host, obviously, Mr. Mauro Fiore.
You introduced me first this time. Very rare, Bob. Thank you.
Well, I had to remember because we haven't had a pour yet.
Yes.
But we have our esteemed guest on today, Mr. BJ Abron, coming to us from?
Straight out of Compton.
Straight out of Compton, wearing a t-shirt. And I guessed you were going to wear that, so I wore my Straight Out of Pittsburgh Raise It t-shirt from Steel City.
I love
Instagram told me I needed it. In fact, I did.
And
Mara, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing my Dodgers jersey, you know. Born and raised in LA, so, you know, Dodger fan.
And it actually says Fiore on the back.
Yep, this was custom made I made it at Dodger Stadium when they used to make them for you there with your name on them. I don't know if they still do it.
Did you know that Mauro sponsors the AAA affiliate of the Dodgers?
I saw the Quakes,
I
right?
wish it was AAA, single A.
Oh, single A.
Single A. The Ranch Cucamonga Quakes. So, so I get to go out there and fool around and it's minor league baseball. You know, anything I want to do. I had them do potato sack races and it's just nonsense. You know, they do anything. It's minor leagues, and then I get to throw out the first pitch.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I saw that. It's nice. I remember when they built that stadium out there, actually.
Was that Jethawk?
I was younger. It was probably
they played Jethawk?
teenagers.
No, what did you say? The stadium?
Yeah.
No, it's called the Epicenter.
Oh, nice.
It's the Quakes.
That's pretty cool. All right, well, we're going to jump right into before we hear about the life story of BJ Abron, and we're going to start with the California whiskey. We selected for you today, very proud to have, of course, our sponsor, the Booze Outlet. Nico, thank you. You should get all your booze from there. Pretty seamless. Now that Drizzly shut down, boozeoutlet.com. Yep. Make sure you spell booze and not one of Mauro's favorite words with a B and two O's. But this is a black truffle limited edition from Sonoma, aged 3-year rye, which I've never had before.
All right.
Because you're a very, very authentic man.
Let's do it.
Man.
Let's try it.
I'm still traumatized over the pickle whiskey from last time.
We were just talking. You know who brought that pickle whiskey? It was fucking Nico from the Booze
Oh
Outlet.
my God! I hope
Give me
this
yours.
is Nico. This better redeem yourself from the pickle whiskey.
Come on over here. This has to be good. I mean, it's truffles.
Is there anything bad with truffles?
I'm going to do a little extra pour for me because I'm excited for today.
Smells good.
All right. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for having me on, fellas.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, that's good.
That's
good.
really good.
Smooth.
You know. Sometimes
Look at the
truffles are a little bit overpowering, but it's not really in this. It's very
Oh,
subtle.
that's very good. Oh, now I taste the truffles. You can taste it at the end.
Once it sits in a little bit.
Oh, nice. Wow. Straight out of California, just like BJ Abron. So BJ, tell us, you came from humble beginnings in Compton, right? So, I mean, now you're on the billboards of LA. Well, I could ask you, if people are watching, we can drop in actually the billboard we saw. It's actually a really good one, and I think BJ is probably the only real trial lawyer that's on billboards that gets, 7-8-figure verdicts all the time. But did you do it just because, you're single, looking to mingle? Is that the...
Wow. Can I plead the fifth to that question?
Yes, you can.
I am single.
He's raising his profile.
No, it was, my business strategy, you guys know my business strategy, similar to you guys, is we get cases from other attorneys, right? We specialized in a certain skill set trying cases, and so most of my cases, 85% of my cases as of now, comes from other attorneys who are able to get cases however they get them. And then when it gets to a certain point, whether it's just litigation or they work it through litigation, work it up, and then it has to go to trial, then I'll get a phone call for that. Of course, that comes with paying out referral fees. And so sometimes we're paying out massive amounts, and the concept of going to billboards for us was to not completely cut the middleman out because we still get business from that, but to be able to go direct to consumer. So take the business format from a B2B to a B2C. And our business, of course, most of us as trial attorneys, we don't do that. We don't go straight B2C.
Well, but it's a completely different business model.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a lot of, you probably get a lot of phone calls. You do some B2C borrow, and it's a lot. You get people complaining. The most common one we get is like, FBI microchipped me. Please help me. Like, you'd be surprised though.
Oh, it's a lot of screening.
Yeah, I get crazy. You know, I don't know why I always get the nuts, but yeah, they send these. It's a bad sign when you know someone says, I have this case, and they send an email through their law firm website, and the email's like 5 pages long.
Oh, goodness.
So I always know this is not going to be good, and then I start reading it, and I was like, yeah, no, I tell them, sorry, we can't help you.
And then you refer them to me because you're a jerk. So, BJ, why don't you share with us, because a lot of people assume that if you're a successful trial lawyer, which you are, that you must have had seed money, things must have just been given to you, but they don't realize the work that you put in.
Oh yeah, a lot of work. I had to build the skill set. In fact, my first job was with renowned trial lawyer Mike Schoenbuck on the defense side. Mm-hmm. Worked for insurance defense, and we did a lot of premises liability cases.
So does Morrow, who by the way,
actually,
just
I had a case with BJ there. I had a guy got beat up at a bar like in Redondo Beach.
It was one of my first cases,
Yeah,
actually.
it was like a bar beating case. That was like, I had a case with BJ and Mike.
Baja Sharkies.
Baja Sharkies, yeah.
Really? Baja Sharkies? That burned down.
I want to say that my guy ended up in a trash bin, right? He ended up in the trash bin.
Are you the client,
No,
Morrow?
the bouncers threw him in the trash bin, but he had been acting a fool inside, and they had the video. They had the video, from inside. So there's a reason why they put him in the trash bin. But I think we resolved that case amicably.
Yeah, that one.
What's it like being on the other side of Morrow, by the way?
It was fun, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I've seen a few bar complaints of people being on the other side of Morrow.
It was a lot of fun. Yourself and Gil took a couple of depositions in that case. I had some stuff that I just didn't release to them, though. That their client, social media stuff at that time that their client was posting, I think no one was aware of. So I was waiting to slam them with it, but
that social media gets you every time, man. My clients, I had one client that got an epidural, and the same day he got an epidural, he was in a weightlifting competition.
Oh, goodness.
And he put it on his Instagram. So that case, I'll tell you how far that case went. But yeah, it's like, I don't understand these people, man, if you're making an injury claim, it's pretty obvious. Maybe don't put out to the world that like you're doing like strongman competitions,
They can't help it. They can't resist.
We've all had those cases that where clients are over social media, and it's coming into trial, and you gotta deal with it. But BJ, the human story, because I know you give a lot back to the community. I know your passion project we've talked a lot about over the years is, giving back to Compton, giving those kids, the group that you did, access to education, right? Access to opportunity.
Right.
So can you share with our viewers and listeners of what you're doing now that you're at a place at the at the top, when you started at the bottom? How are you helping folks?
Yeah, really just trying to kind of put myself back where I was when I was younger and look at what I didn't have. Avenues, resources, guidance, and things like that. I often go and speak at schools. I implemented a law program, I should say, at a school in Watts that Principal Raw, a good friend of mine, opened up.
Shout out to Raw, by the way, which we'll drop it in, but
yeah,
had a couple nights at our house. He's a good dude.
Yeah, great dude. Quality human being. He really is, and we grew up on the same street.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we grew up on the same street.
Do you know this story? They have they're doing like a crypto.
Yeah, K-12 crypto.
K-12 crypto. Can you plug it, because it's pretty odd. It's like, so whenever people explain like what is cryptocurrency and like this doesn't make sense to me, this is a perfect use case of how it actually does societal good.
Yeah, it definitely does. In fact, we're merging it because we started a subsidiary called the Knowlej App, especially with a lot that's going on in cryptocurrency. But K-12 crypto is a Web3 platform, basically, ed tech platform that allows children to earn to learn in the course of going through school. So we partner with a lot of entities, a number of companies who come in and incentivize kids basically to go to school and learn. And since the pandemic, there's been a significant fallback in attendance for kids across the nation. It's not something that has been talked about, but it's a chronic issue in terms of absenteeism. So we're targeting that right now. And then as we roll out and continue to grow, we're going to really start implementing the things that we want to do with Web3. So we launched Knowlej App this year, earlier in the first quarter of this year, and we're going to be doing probably like $2 million in revenue by the end of the year on that.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, so we're scaling up fast.
And that's like, it's an example of you're using the ability for them to stay in school, literally stay off the streets, do well, to earn the opportunity to use those credits, that crypto. They're accepting it at other schools, universities.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, yep. All across the nation. We have school in the Bronx, New York, down south, as well as, of course, all up and down Los Angeles County in California. So,
well, cheers to that, because we're going to take our second pour. We'll cheers. And, well, Mara already drank his because he loves truffles.
Yes, I'm a truffle pig.
I think they have truffle dogs. They have truffle pigs too.
I think it's pigs too.
All right, BJ, can you hand me this next
Let's
bottle,
do it.
because we're gonna. So this one is the Chicken Cock, which is a good whiskey out of Kentucky, but this is the Island Rooster.
all right.
This is a rye, the Chicken Cock Island Rooster, and
Where'd the name come from? Do we know? The
I
chicken cock?
don't think you need to know.
I remember there was a cartoon where there was a chicken cock. Yeah, the big rooster was the chicken cock. Remember that one? Might have been with like
Foghorn?
yeah, Foghorn Leghorn was a chicken cock. Yes.
Can you say chicken cock 5 times fast?
Chicken.
Didn't even make a half. So, anyways, I selected the chicken cock to get Nico source this for us, because this is a hard bottle to find. From
That one
Booze
might
Out.
make it out of here in my bag.
You're such a thief. But anyways, Chicken Cock, the Island Rooster, because BJ is the perfect example of somebody that gives everything back when he earns. So BJ had a couple big verdicts, very big, that got paid. And the first thing he did was took his entire family to the islands. Was it the Bahamas?
Turks and Caicos.
Turks and Caicos.
Yeah.
Took them all out.
Yeah.
And then
It's
that's
true.
whenever,
It's true.
this time last year, we're filming in June in LA. By the way, shout out to Charles Liu, Bike Shed. Shout out to Tom Hardy letting us use his private bar. We promise not to sample too much.
It's amazing.
And Tom Hardy's new movie just came out.
What was
The
it?
Bike Riders. It's a motorcycle movie.
That explains why all the bikes are gone in the Bike Shed. There's only like 5 left.
There's a big motorcycle movie just came out last weekend.
So this time last year, July of last year, maybe June, BJ was with his family, taking them all out because that's what you do. You give back. And Mara and I were like, "Hey, we're in Ibiza. You want to come over?" And BJ showed up in Ibiza.
That was a
Well,
good
I
time.
mean, no, it wasn't. No, Bob
From one
told
island
me,
to another one. I
Bob
never told you.
No, Bob told me. He said, me and Bob were in Ibiza, and we were hanging out, and he said, "I have a special guest coming tomorrow." I was like,
Mara.
"You can have a special guest coming to fucking Ibiza, man. This is not like, it's not
Who's
like a
dropping
special,
in Ibiza?
not like a special guest coming to your house for dinner." It's like, "What do you mean a special guest?" He goes, and I'm like, "Do I know him?" And he's like, "Yeah, you know him." So me and Bob played like 20 questions for like 2 days. He fucking wouldn't tell me. He wouldn't tell him.
So you found out when I walked into
So
the
then
hotel.
finally he said that he's here, and then I was in the pool and I looked and I said, "Fucking BJ," what the hell?" So that's when I found out was Bob wouldn't reveal your identity. Bob always has a special guest on vacation.
It's true. But we, first of all, cheers to this.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Almost a year since then.
It's almost a year. You can come back this year if you want.
I just remember that like the first day we went to Formentera to have lunch,
Oh, this is
that
fantastic.
was good.
and it was the hottest, most humid day in like the history of Ibiza. I was dying. It was so hot and humid.
We were like literally holding ice in our hands and
Yeah.
our necks.
Yeah, that was a good time.
I don't. Yeah,
That was
Food
a
was
good time.
good.
Yeah.
Boat ride.
Boat ride. We were watching the episode. We have a good video of BJ being like 007 coming down under the water with that. This is really good. Yeah.
This is sweet, little sweet.
Yeah, but they aged this one in Caribbean rum bottles.
Oh, that's why it tastes
rum
like
barrels. Yeah, so it's pretty
Yeah,
good.
it's very. This would be really good. Just like on the rocks, it'd be great. Sipper.
Oh yeah, this is a good sipper. So BJ, now
Yeah, I like it.
can you share everybody just your kind of education, because you went out of law school, you went and worked for a defense firm. Mara and I are pure bloods. We've never done defense. When you go in church and you do like the sign of the cross and do the holy water dip, you probably sting a little bit. Mara and I do not.
I
And then-
crossed over.
Yeah, and then when did you cross over?
I crossed over in 2017, actually.
Wow. Seems like it was earlier than that for some reason in my mind.
No. Well, I went to law school late, so if you're
You
trying
were-
to say
you
I
were-
look old.
No, you were. In
I
the-
didn't say that.
I
No,
get it.
BJ was.
all of us here are now in our 40s. Well, except for Mara, who just turned 50.
I just made my 40s.
I was 40 recently, and now I'm 50.
That was a great party too.
Yeah, it was a good.
So it was your 40th. It was
Yeah, it's a good time. It was a good time.
But you were in the music business, right?
So I managed artists at that point in time. I did a lot. When I graduated from Cal State Long Beach undergrad, marketing and sociology major.
That's actually a pretty good major for being a lawyer.
Yeah, it is. It is, especially now. I mean, today's age. Understanding how to market things for the brand and as well as connecting with people, especially as a trial lawyer, sociology. So
that's good.
It is important. I wasn't doing it at that point because of that. But when I came out of undergrad, I worked for Skechers
that's right.
corporation. Yeah, so I started to merge into the fashion. I started to design shoes, and at that point, I took a random interview, completely bullshit at the interview, with the city of LA to be a communications technician, which is basically like an IT guy. I ran a bunch of cables, helped build the Tom Bradley International Terminal.
Wow.
I did a whole lot of stuff there, and I worked. So I left fashion. I was doing marketing and branding at the same time and managing artists. So I was doing a whole lot. And then I went over to work for the city of LA. Worked there for some years, got bored, wasn't enough. And then I started trying to figure out what my next path was. It's either going back to school to get your engineering degree, stay in that same field, going to get my MBA, or going to law school. And I had a mentor at that time, Ricky Ivey.
Oh yeah.
And
Ivy McNeil and Wyatt.
Yes. He set me down. He was like, look, you can go get an MBA. It'll be great, but everybody's getting an MBA these days. It's like the new BA.
So this is 2012.
This is 2000. No, because I went to law school in 2011. I started.
Wow.
So this is 2009.
So this is right whenever the quote unquote recession happened.
Yeah, right
too.
after the
Wow.
recession. Yeah. So this is.
That's what they actually had a huge influx of law school applicants during that time.
It was.
Huge. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's the reason why I couldn't get anywhere else but Southwestern.
What are you talking about? My twin brother went to Southwestern, my twin brother.
I love Southwestern.
Brian
I
Panish,
love it.
Arsh Monacourt.
I love it. I love
Dan Kramer,
Yeah.
Sienna Collado. There's a ton of trial lawyers came from Southwestern.
Yeah, 1,000%. In fact, I wouldn't have become a trial lawyer if I didn't go there.
Wow.
Yeah. So I made the decision to go to law school. And like I said, I was planning on being an entertainment lawyer, to be honest.
Which is all just contracts and bullshit.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
babysitting, by the way. Any sports agent for entertainment, you're babysitting and doing contracts.
That's exactly what it is.
It's terrible.
It's terrible. I was good at it though. I'm good at reading through agreements. That was like just something I just had a knack for. But I tried out for our trial team, the trial lawyer, what was it, trial advocate honors program at Southwestern. And I made the team and I started learning how to connect and speak publicly. And I found out I had a passion for it, that I love like trying cases, but before then I had never wanted to be a trial lawyer. I never thought about it. But at that point I realized like, hey, I wanted to try cases. And so that's when I started to actually learn about personal injury cases. Because before all you heard about was, ambulance chasers or all this negativity around it. But I learned quickly, like if you want to try cases, civil cases, this is actually where the trial lawyers reside.
That's
so,
it.
Yeah.
I mean,
For the record, I've never chased an ambulance.
Well, we can tell.
I might have. I might have maybe walked fast behind one, but chasing never.
So, by the way, why number 54?
This was my jersey number in high school.
So
when I played
that was
football.
actually when I played football. I was also 54.
This was my
I never
number.
told you this. So
Really? That's like a lineman number.
Yes, and I was a lineman. I was a left
I
guard,
was a
and
defense-
I
was
wore-
a defensive end.
So yeah. Right.
Okay.
I played in small school, man.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Jim Emmons went to your school. I mean, you had a lot of athletes went to your. So yeah, don't make shit up. They actually won the state
Let me show
championship when
you
he was
video.
there.
So
But
you
you guys won the
fast.
state
You got to come
championship.
around the
We did.
edge quick to be a DN.
Division 8.
Marl's very quick.
Very fast, very fast.
You ever watch him as an athlete? He's very quick.
Division
What's your
8.
40 time?
Oh, I don't know. They didn't have.
His 40-ounce time, he can do a steel reserve in under 5 seconds.
A steel reserve is for you guys. When I was into
You guys?
drinking malt liquor.
Who are you guys?
I'm older. We used to drink King Cobra, no steel
Oh,
reserve.
goodness.
Cobra. To drink King Cobra or Schlitz malt liquor bull.
don't know
It
that
works. 50% of the time, it works every time. Billy D. Williams used to say.
And he probably boofs it, by the way.
Remember the Billy D. Williams commercials? And he'd
Moro
be saying,
has so many random
Billy D.
facts.
Williams
He
would
has the
say,
most random
it works
facts that
every
I've ever
time.
met.
He'd say it works
Dude,
every
we
time.
watched,
I don't know exactly what it worked on.
We watched Empire Strikes Back with my daughters recently. Billy D. Williams is like the coolest motherfucker
good.
ever.
So good.
He even like runs well. You know?
He was Lando Calrissian.
Lando Calrissian, man. And then Donald B. Glover played him, and he's one of my favorite people ever right now. Multi-talented. So tell us about like first of all, you weren't like this hat that you gave me, or you're going to give me.
Yes, it's yours.
Thank you very much. But you also made one for me with all of my Pittsburgh teams where I wore the Pittsburgh shirt. But this is one of your friends, or is this your
this
friend?
is one of my good friends. He's also from Compton. Compton is like probably one of the richest cities in terms of like creatives and production in terms of fashion and many other areas as well. But Dante is a good friend of mine. Dante Johnson. His company name is Fate. You'll see these hats a lot
That's
of
your hat
wear.
too, yeah?
Yeah. This is another one of his hats as well.
So what's the free with the
The
halo?
free. This was born in 2020 with the George Floyd stuff.
Oh, cool.
All the stuff that was going on, and that's where he developed this concept, and it was born since then. So it's kind of like a Juneteenth tribute kind of a hat. But his fashion is, and he makes way more than just hats. But you see a lot of Chris Brown, a bunch of like A-list celebrities wear his stuff. So it's really good. Yeah.
That's cool.
Good product.
And does it all have like? Mine's a regular brim. This is like a short brim on
Yeah,
yours.
these are like
Can you see
something that
this
he's
on the video?
doing
Look-
now. It's
look
like
at
a
the short
short
brim.
brim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I got a little
nice.
head, so I don't
Extremely fashionable.
Yeah, I mean, you look like a paper boy though.
Yeah, I didn't notice the short brim. I didn't notice that. Till
I
You didn't
remember
notice
that
that?
game.
Yeah.
On the
Every time I
bicycle.
drive like through our streets, I always think it's a game of Paperboy because kids are running out, dogs are screaming at you. There's like garbage trucks. I'm like, it's a game of Paperboy.
That was a good game. I
was a
love
good
that game.
You could go stuff in the mailbox or break their windows.
So,
so good.
I grew up in Southern California and back in like the 80s when I was in high school and stuff. Compton was like an area like you just avoided. It's very dangerous in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's not a place. Now, I've gone back, decades later now, like to go to the courthouse and stuff. I see it's kind of changed demographically too, has changed a lot. I think Compton area is like more Latino now.
Yeah, that's true.
Than it was back when I was a kid, and you'd never want to go out there. That was like the heyday of like the Crips and Bloods things, late 80s. You just avoided that whole area. But now I think it's very Latino.
Yeah, and I mean it's still for me, having been from Compton, growing up and born and raised, it's still relatively the same. It's a very homey environment, but it's also dangerous at the same time, right?
Well, you can say that about a lot of places.
You can say that about a lot of places. A lot of places in the
So
world.
when I first went to California in 2002, and I was a lawyer in 2005, and one of the first case I ever tried was actually in Compton.
Same.
Really?
Jess Curry.
Oh no, I had Judge Holm. She was an older judge, but I just remember because those are the towers, right? So like the first time I was trying the case, I didn't know there was an attorney line. So I was just,
Oh, yeah, that's
there's a
right.
line at Compton that wraps around the building. So I'm
Yeah,
just
that
sitting there
line
like
was
sweating. Am I going to
was
make a
horrible.
trial call on
There's
time?
a lot of traffic court there as well. Yeah.
And they get you the elevator pass up. But I was just like standing in line with everybody, just talking, hanging out. Got a really, really good verdict. It was a dog bite in Compton, and like really big verdict for what I had. And afterwards, one of the other attorneys told me that during the middle of the trial, like, there's an attorney line. I'm like, what? But I always stood on every day though, also part of superstition. But I like being around people, so I always wanted to stand on the.
Yeah, and you don't know what jurors are watching. That you don't want them to see skipping line if that's the case.
How often jurors see that and talk. So I tried a case a couple weeks ago, and during jury selection, she ended up being a juror, one of our key jurors. They asked this, defense lawyer, who hates corporations? They always ask that shit. We always ask it too to preempt it. This one girl raises her hand. She's like, I'm not going to say it's like a corporation thing. She's like, I just got to tell you my observations. She's like, when I look, we're all the jurors, we're out in the hall, we're just like waiting to be called and stuff. And she's like, this side of the table, she points to all of us. She goes, you guys seem very close. You guys are hugging each other. You're like in sync. She's like, I look at you guys and it's very like corporate and cold. And I was like, and you could feel like the whole juror,
yes.
oh God, all the jurors are kind of like shaking their head because it was weird what was going on over there. And I was like, yep, you nailed it.
Perfect. Say more. Please
Yeah,
say
yeah.
more.
And I was like, but can you still like be fair to them? She's like, I can be fair. I'm like, good, that's all I had to ask you. You're good with that? Okay, we're good.
Did she remain on the jury?
She ended up being an alternate, and she's one of the 4 alternates, and you always, with our judge, you flip a coin. Or no, you pull a number out of the hat.
Yeah.
And she was 4, alternate 4. She was the first one in. Juror got sick, she's in. I was like, oh, here we go.
Wow, that worked out.
Worked out very well. But yeah,
How
you
was
got to
she
know
on the
people.
verdict?
She was 100% on.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
They
But you
should've
read
got rid of
people,
her.
man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what we do. I mean, it's a big part of what we do. And that's one of the things that actually attracted me to this, because I think naturally I'm very intuitive in terms of like reading people, good quality people, evaluating who's who. Right, that's just something that you kind of grow up and you learn, especially growing up where I grew up. You have to learn that quick and fast. Otherwise, you can find yourself in some very compromised positions.
Oh, now I remember 54. I wore the same number in basketball they used to chant 54, eat some more. I was a bigger kid in high school. Now, yeah, bringing back memories, man.
What?
Oh yeah, 54. I'll be in the free throw line. 54, eat some more.
You were like a big dude.
I was a big dude in high school, yeah. But I would ice free
So
throws.
you had a jump shot though.
I would never.
Play basketball.
I will not leave the floor. My jump shot. If you watch me play, because I was this tall when I was
your toes at best.
fifth grade. I was this big, so I was.
He has
I
a
was,
set shot.
Set shot.
Right.
He's played. It's pretty marvelous.
He's like Bob Cousy.
Really?
Set shot.
All right.
It could be a pass, could be a shot. You don't know what's gonna come.
I like it.
You need trickery at my age and level. Mark, can you give us our last pour here?
Absolutely. So this is a Basil Hayden dark rye. Bob is a big rye drinker, as you know, so I know this is a Bob pick. And Basil Hayden is a Jim Beam product.
Jim Beam
which
product.
Is, Jim Beam is one of the oldest continuously made bourbons in the United States, and this is their high-end stuff, the Basil Hayden.
So Jim Beam, actually, they purchased a lot of like barrels that were kind of abandoned, and they repurposed them, and that's how they get a lot of their line. Is the whiskey lines that don't do very well, they'll just buy their barrels and they'll rename them.
Or they'll let them age for more years.
Correct.
And they
I
do
didn't
a lot
know
of
I think it's one of the biggest ones. But
orphan barrels, they call them.
I think, yeah, that's true. But look at the color of this, by the way. Look at this.
Very dark.
He didn't even cheers us. This pig.
Yeah, he's just ready. It's going
Cheers,
at
my
it.
friends. Cheers, my dears.
Goodness.
Oh, here we go.
So BJ, so then you go and work. I know
taste
you.
how good that is.
It's really good.
These
three have been outstanding.
This is
one of my.
That was a good order, actually.
One of my
Yeah, because
top
I picked
three.
that one last because it's more of like a dessert whiskey, even though it's probably 50%.
Yeah, it's really good. So then you went and you worked at Mike Alder's office. I remember when you were there. Mm-hmm. You learned some trial lawyer stuff there,
Right.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then what year did you go out on your own?
I went out on my own. It was horrific timing. Who knew? But it was 2019 at the tail end. So I didn't know, especially putting yourself as a trial lawyer, we need trials to be going forward. And then the pandemic was around the corner, So
Because a lot of people don't know, like trial lawyers who usually take a percentage of the fee to try a case. So it's not like you're getting a retainer.
Right, exactly.
You got to win, you got to earn.
Yeah, I mean,
but before you can do any of that, there
Gotta be
has to be a trial date. That's it,
yeah.
right? So you have to get there. And so when the pandemic happened, all trials went off calendar. So I had to figure out a way to survive, and obviously, I was a founding 50 in JHQ. That was a blessing that, I was involved timely. Bob gave me some cases to work on. But I was
None
able
against Morrow, though, because you
None
guys
against
are on the
Morrow.
same side now.
Now we're on the
Yeah,
same side.
very true. Even though I don't know.
That first, that first.
One of our friends, we're on a joint text with one of our friends that he's suing one of his other friends, so it's like a whole thing right now.
Yeah.
It happened yesterday.
Yeah, I was like, dude, well, maybe you can just lean on him and get him to pay,
That's his solution, is lean on him to pay, not like, oh man, I'm sorry. It's just like,
Oh, man. Have you tried a case of Morrow?
I have not, but I've watched him in trial. And Morrow's
I
actually a
gotta try a
fabulous
case
trial
of
lawyer.
Morrow.
He's tried more cases than me, actually. More than all of us combined, probably.
I enjoy trying cases. It's fun, and I'm as always myself.
Yes.
Like I tried a case with Connell Doyle, who we're all friends with.
Love
Connell's a real straight guy, So but he knows how I am. So I'm surprised why he was so shocked by the way I was in trial, because I didn't change how I am.
Morrow's the type of guy they make movies about, because he's like sleeping at counsel table. They hit him with a newspaper, he wakes up, and crosses
Goes
witness,
across.
goes.
Yeah. So he was like, man. He was like, I was like, making. Talking to the jurors during the trial and stuff. I get away with whatever I can. But Connell was just so pissed.
What is this? You can't do that.
Goodness.
I hope those verdicts were paid.
I'm a habitual line stepper.
Yeah, if they weren't, they're going to have some problems. Yeah.
Habitual line stepper. So yeah, Connell wasn't thrilled with that. But you just know that I'm going to just freestyle a little,
So was Connell on the trip to Ibiza with you, or he was with us right before that?
Yeah, no, Connell wasn't there when I was there. Yeah. I love Connell.
Connell's one of the best trial lawyers. He also, he's he has one leg.
Yeah.
So we were carrying him out of the boat to go to the
Yeah, I threw him on my back.
You threw him on his back like it was
carry him on the Formentera.
It was like C-3PO getting carried by the Wookiee. That reminded me of that exact thing.
That's pretty funny.
Oh,
It
that's
was.
hilarious.
Mar's strong, man. I was very impressed by that. Walking through sand with Conal Doyle on his back.
Yeah. Well, I probably had a couple drinks in me, do you think?
Yeah, at least a couple of drinks.
But you know, that first part of 2020, that pandemic, like when you started your own office, was a crazy time, you know? No one really knew what the hell was going on.
Everyone was trying to figure it out. You know, the insurance companies were trying to figure it out. Should we pay? Should we wait? You know, what's going to happen? On our end, of course, we were all huddling and, you know, trying to figure out different ways to help move the cases forward, generally speaking, and, you know, help our clients, because our clients are sitting obviously in pain, they're suffering, their lives have been changed. So, you know, we're all trying to figure things out at that point in time. So it was a tough time for everyone, but, you know, it allowed me to reflect and actually hone in on my practice a little bit more. So it was a good time for that. And then, you know, once we started to try cases, you know, rest is history. You know, got in there, started doing what I knew that I could do.
But I think you, to your credit, you held these cases rather than settling at a discount, which they wanted to do. You said, we're going to wait this out. We're going to try these, and now you saw that you had monumentous verdicts after that because the jurors knew what was up. You were waiting a long time, so it was good.
That's a tough thing to do.
It is tough, especially if you don't have money coming in.
Exactly. It's a big. I mean, but that's what we do. You know, we are risk takers. We take risks, of course, not just for ourselves, but for our clients. You know, we bear those risks. You know, because we're funding the cases, we're dealing with our time and our staff and everything like that. So it was definitely a risky thing to do. But you know, once you do it once, then I guess it's kind of like, hey.
What's this tattoo here?
This one?
So this is to the 105.
This is my Compton tribute, actually.
I love that.
So these are the 4 freeways that surround Compton. So instead of just writing Compton on my arm, it's the 105, the 91, the 710, and then the 110 freeway. So Compton is in the middle of all 4 of those freeways. Yeah.
See, on my toe, I just have bridges of Pittsburgh all the way down.
That's how you do it. Looks good.
Yeah. But I need some new ones.
One like that soon, actually.
Yeah, there you
I got to get my niece, my newest. This is like my family arm. So it's like my mom, my dad, my sisters. I got my oldest nephew. This is his birthday. He just turned 18 in May. And then
you work with your sister. Ashley works with you.
Yes, and my older sister as well. I just hired her.
When did that happen? I was going to say.
Yeah, that happened a little earlier this year, maybe like in March. So we're scaling up, you know.
That's good.
And so, but I wanted to make sure, which is so important. Just like, you know, you got a family business. Having family involved in a business is so important to me because you can trust them.
You can trust
everything.
Is that
You don't
right?
have to worry about it.
Look,
he says, whose family?
My mom used to work for me. She was the fucking greatest. She was awesome. But my fucking piece of shit brother, hate this. Let me tell you how I really feel. I had to fire the son of a bitch. He stole like $500,000 from my office.
I didn't know that. Really?
Oh, yeah. He was embezzling money for years. I finally caught him.
500,000?
Yeah.
You're making a lot of money then, huh?
Well, he was squirreling it away like $1,200 at a time for years, you know? So he was real sharp about it. But after like 6-7 years, it was like $500,000 that he'd stolen, a little bit at a time.
Wow.
Yeah. And
so Mara took care of his folks, his whole family, employed them all, like same as we all do. You know.
Except for this guy, the worst.
I don't know that, man. I'm sorry.
No good deed goes unpunished, you know?
Well, you know what? Mara and I are going to be in Spain for a month starting Friday. We hope to see you in Ibiza again.
Yes, I might pop out.
According to Chicken Cock, you're going to be there. Have a couple more drinks. He'll book his flight today.
I'll be there. I'll book it today.
So as we end the episode here today, BJs, we just want to know. Like, first, we're going to ask you to pick your Bourbon of Proof. But before we do that, I want to know what are you passionate about? We talk a lot about this. Is you're earning for a passion. Like, what are you trying to do with your life?
Yeah, I mean, and that's, for me, that's something that's always changing, you know, or morphing. It's a core value, and that's giving back to the community. You know, it's just like something I've always been passionate about. You know, I spent time, I grew up just like anybody else in Compton. You know, I was involved in the streets and, you know, all kind of different things at certain points in times. But, you know, for me, it's always been trying to give back and, you know, leave a certain impression on a community. And so, I mean, I appreciate you guys, too, just the fact that we're sitting here on a lawyer's podcast I got my tattoos out. You guys that got tattoos out, wearing T-shirts, not in ties, and you know. But that's important for people to understand that we're humans. You know, we're not just machines and tuxedos and shirts and ties and
You
suits.
do look good in a tuxedo, though.
I do look. I think I do okay. I think I do okay. Even though I don't have everything up here like I used to, but you know, I still do okay.
But you're one of those guys that looks good bald. You know, you look good.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think my head's all oblong.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I know some folks that did that.
Yeah, my head's all weird shaped. If I wouldn't bald,
I think you'll be
I'd
all
have
right.
to be wearing a wig.
You'll be all right.
I get a nice wig.
But yeah, you know, giving back is the core. It's the value, you know. So I appreciate the things that you guys do too, that allows other attorneys to say, hey, I can be human. You know, I can be me. I can be whoever I am. And I think that's the most important thing, to be authentic, especially as a trial lawyer, because people, jurors, they understand that. They can see through that when you're being fake and being somebody
100%.
else. So,
cool.
I mean, if you ever saw Nick Rowley in trial,
yes,
Nick has real authenticity to him that the jurors really they believe what Nick is saying because he's truly authentic. Nick has a really amazing way about him in trial.
Yeah.
Anyone who's never seen Nick in trial, if he's in trial, go see it.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty amazing.
That's like method acting, where he's so into it. Like,
Nick's
I gotta turn
amazing.
it off, man.
Nick's amazing.
It's good though. You know, it makes you think about a lot.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so the last shoot, BJ Abron, you got to pick your bourbon of proof. We had the Sonoma truffle rye, black truffle rye. We had the chicken cock, the Caribbean Asian rum. We had the Basil Hayden dark rye. What's your bourbon
This
of
is a
proof?
tough one this week.
These are all good.
These are all really good.
Yeah, they're good. I gotta go with the Basil Hayden.
Really?
Yeah.
Man.
Me, you know
I
what?
like the Basil Hayden, but I also
think
I
I'm with
like
you.
Basil Hayden. You know,
You
but
like-
I've
I
never
didn't
had
know that.
this. I've
Yeah,
never had
this
this.
is my favorite Basil Hayden product.
Never had
This is one that you can go to Mastro's and order with the steak.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
All right. Well, BJ, thank you
have
for
that
coming
in
on,
mind.
man. We appreciate you coming on this episode of Bourbon of Proof. And again, credit to you. And we got to get a shoe shot because you wore. Look,
Oh
look
man,
at
if I would have known you guys were going to do this, I would have wore something a little bit different.
These are nice. Look at Mark. He actually was an adult today. He didn't wear his Gucci slippers.
They look good. Those are nice.
It's the worst, man.
They're not slippers.
It's the worst.
All right.
You got the furry slippers?
Yeah.
He's got the fur.
Yeah.
He likes furries. So.
They're mules. They're
He's actually
mules.
he goes to
They're
furry. He
mules.
goes to furry conventions. It's weird.
Did you know I used to be a furry? That's another episode. I'll go for another episode.
That's a really dark rye episode. All right, good.